Hi. So in today's video, I'll be telling you once again, I will be sharing with you once again a few examples of, as if a response to my own thoughts. And I'll be telling you about, uh, kind of stolen ideas too, right? So that's another section from my book Piglet. If that's something for you, stay tuned and off we go. So, drawing. Let me just have a look at my list and let me just take a time to comprehend it because, oh, yeah, I recall the situation. So I remember when studying graphic design and my teacher looked at the cover of the album and she told me that it looked as if, somebody who didn't know totally how to use Illustrator used it for the first time. And it was and they were amazed with the options it had. So this was pretty much my situation. So I didn't know how to use Illustrator, and I was uncovering its options when working on that album. uh, yeah. And then, my best friend told me that whenever she gave to somebody a drawing because they asked for it, then they would hang it for a while and then they would get bored and they would throw it away. So this was pretty much what happened with my drawing too, because she installed the idea in me. And then my other friend Kaka asked me for my drawing. I didn't want to give it to her. It was a drawing of a model with an umbrella, so I didn't want to give it to her. But she wanted badly, and she hanged it for, you know, like 2 weeks. And then she told me that she threw it away. So she pretty much did what I assumed she would do, right? Um, I used to study graphic design for a while with this colleague whose name was Agnieszka, and whenever I looked at her drawing, I was just wondering, like, how is that possible? Like, how did she get in to those studies? And you know, I kept on thinking that, and she approached me and she told me that yeah, she passed a mature exam with history of art, and uh, this was supposedly how she got in, right? Because she got more scores from test rather than practical skill checkup. Because when you want to get in, you have to do drawing and painting activity. And when I was ashamed about getting in to graphic and design from waiting list because I didn't pass history exam because my school didn't prepare me for history exam, and so I didn't decide to take it up during mature exam. And they could take into consideration only my skills, but I was ashamed that I got in from the waiting list. And when I was thinking about it, so the girls started to talk about the waiting list and who was where on the position on the of the list, on the list basically to get in our field of studies. When I, for example, thought about my friend Ella, that she looked really good, then she approached me and she told me that she heard her friend telling her that she looked good, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. She actually looks pretty much like Angelina Jolie. So yeah, very well. When I, for example, started to read about fashion and I started to watch Hello Fashion, um, I learned something about Louis Vuitton, and then in the secondhand shop, somebody said, "Oh, Louis Vuitton's shoes," and the truth is, Louis Vuitton did bags, and I don't think we had Louis Vuitton shoes in the secondhand shop, but what do I know? I also remember when being in Holland, whenever I had to come home, then I actually cared to buy some gifts for children, so I would have the entire bag stuffed with gifts. And then Giovanna told me the same thing. When she was going to Bosnia, when she was going home, she would have her entire bag stuffed with things. Um, when I was learning Dutch in Holland, then Wesley, my flatmate and my landlord, started to learn Polish. Um, when I worked, with shrimps in Volendam, I wanted to work in a casino and I wanted to search for a job in a casino. So one of the colleagues approached me and he told me that he worked in a casino. When I worked at McDonald's, I wanted to work also for KFC or just, to have the second stream of income. I wanted to work somewhere. So my colleague at work during that time told me that she got a job at KFC. Um, and you know, when I started to think, when I started to share with my best friend, games that she could use in the classroom. Then at McDonald's, we started to just give away board games to children. There was always a practice of giving away balloons, but they started to give away also board games. Or, um, I also have experienced like the same scenery when it comes to acting out the environment, seeing the place, the services that you use, like a hairdresser. I always used to go to the hairdresser and get quite a quick haircut because I didn't wait for the hairdresser that for example, worked the longest over there, but I could use the apprenticeship. And the reason why it was because I always would cut my hair in a simple way, straight, right? So I always believed that it didn't require any special skills. So I would always get, that haircut very, very fast. And even when I went to Holland to the Chinese hairdresser, I experienced the same thing. There was only one boy sitting and having his hair done, and one girl. So I wait just for 5 minutes, and then she did my dry fast, very, very fast. And with regard to lawyers, I have the same thing going on because the first lawyer told me that he couldn't take up the case because he had a different case already in Sosnowiec. So my second lawyer, who took up my case, told me that he wouldn't come to to this hearing because he had a different case someplace different. But this time he told me that he would provide me with somebody on his behalf who would represent him, right? So that was similar. But what was similar? It was that it was the first lawyer. When I met him, I met him in his office, and the same was with my second lawyer. And with this first lawyer, with the second visit, he took me to a different, as if bigger meeting room. So my second lawyer also took me to a different room, bigger room, with the second meeting. So. And if we to all that, add to all that the story with two small shoes and always asking for 41 size and hearing no, we don't have that one, or if they had it and it was still too small, then I just think these situations when you go for a service, they just are acted out. They are acted out on purpose in a similar way. And in this section entitled Thoughts in my book, I also talk about ideas, stolen ideas very often, because I remember being in high school when Philip asked me what would be my next article, what would I like to write about, and I wanted to make an interview with, the boy who was sitting in Vałova Street and he was playing the guitar and singing. So I wanted to ask him, some questions. And before I even managed to say that, Madalena, just standing next to me, said that she would so terribly want to make such an interview. She would so terribly want it. And I said, well, I would like that too, because I've been thinking about it, but I could think of something else then. So neither of us did that interview. Or, I was very proud when writing my MA that I came across an idea that was very unique and original, and I thought that vocabulary that would surround a very big taboo, a shitty vocabulary in war literature was very unique for me at that time. So Evelina actually thought up a very similar topic, but she looked at, shitty vocabulary in Shakespeare's literature, right? And, and she seemed to be angry with me, although perhaps I should be angry with her. Because at that time I took a lot of pride in having a unique topic to handle, to look at. Uh, And there were other examples of stolen ideas, like, I knew from Britannia Internal School, where I used to teach, that, there is Anna Popławska who provides education trainings for teachers. And, it was in my CV, sure thing. And then my friends from work shared it with other teachers in within that school, within a different school. So I wanted to be the one who would, come and show them the new source of knowledge. And basically, Edita very often presented my ideas as her ideas. Yeah. There were also other examples. Like I remember in the past I wanted to go to Mars. It's not like seriously, but I wanted to go to a different planet just to have that experience, just to think about it, dream about it, what it would be like, right? Because you can't go to a different planet if you're not physically fit. Like, you have to have the eyesight, the right eyesight, and everything has to be in the right order in your body to go there. So but during that time when I was thinking about it, somebody told me that there was a colony going to Mars, and even two people from Poland got in. But I never got any info, following up info, like how did this play out, how long, and did it take them to stay there? Are they still there? So I don't think it was true information. Somebody just, checked in my Akashic records what I was thinking about, and they adjusted the lies to. But anyway, the thing is that they adjust a lot of things to you, to your beliefs, to your way of thinking, right? They adjust what they say when they talk to you, and they adjust, the circumstances and their act. They want to do it in a repeatable way, in a similar way, that it was always, um, that this is the length of the queue you always had at the dentist, for example, right? And they can also, present your intellectual property, what you came up with, as theirs, without you often knowing about it. But you know what? The ideas are always, replicable, and you will always find some experts and some people who already are in your field of interest. So it doesn't matter. Just get inspired with them and use quotes if you need it, and just go for it. Okay, so that's it when it comes to probably my last video about Piglet. And what I want to tell you today is that finishing off that project, finishing off that book was very, very important for me. And there were a lot of, challenges, I would say, along the way when working on that book. And I think for a variety of the reasons, that book is important to be out there, to be available. It speaks about the way the system is built by the gypsy. It speaks about symbolism, and it speaks about covert hypnosis. And it speaks about, my life in Tadenov within the system. It speaks about me discovering how these people really and truly act. And it talks about me discovering uh, the existence of extrasensory perception. So, yeah, and it also uncovers a lot of my shame, and it shows you how I was, thrown into the work of. I'm not sure if incorporating the shadows is the best way to call it, but definitely the work of integrating everything that went wrong and bad, and learning to talk about it, and seeing lots of benefits in my personal life because of the fact that I have learned to talk. So, yeah, if that's something for you, then all the info about Piglet you will find in the description of the film on my website, Facebook, Instagram accounts, and same as with my course, Amelia. If you want to learn how, identities of gays, pedophiles, lesbians, transvestites are created with the use of intertextuality, the use of books, songs, fairy tales, and how a given experience is anchored and linked with a given, color, sound, taste, animal, language, and then you'll find all the info in the description of the film on my website. And yeah, if you like this film, please like, share, and subscribe. And thanks for watching.